So this video will show you how to do maternity adjustments using an existing pattern that you already have for knits. It can be applied to tank tops, t-shirts, bodycon dresses, or t-shirt dresses. Basically, it's going to be adjustment from here to here, so all around the belly, and everything up here will stay the same as on your pattern, and from the hips down will stay the same on your pattern. So if you have a dress, we would just be changing this part of the pattern piece from the bust to the hips. Okay. So choose your size according to your pattern based on your current bust and hip sizes. And in this example, we're going to be making a fitted tank top, and this is all for something that's fairly fitted. So it is for a stretchy knit, 40% or more. So here's bust line, waistline, hip line. The waist, we basically just have there for reference. We're not actually basing any sizes off of this because obviously it's changing. So, and here I've written hip. It's actually probably more accurate to say this is just an under belly right here. I'm using the measurement for right here, about 2 inches above my true hips for this fitted tank top. So these are your 2 commercial pattern pieces that you've cut out based on your bust and hip measurements and done whatever grading you need to do between high bust and bust if you usually do that, and from here to hip if you usually do that. One thing that is important is to figure out how far down and where the shirt hits. Does it hit 4 inches above the hip? Does it hit at the hip? Because some tank top patterns may not need much lengthening. So what you would do is measure this part of the tank top, and you can compare it to, and then measure down here on your body, and you can kind of see like if it hits where we want it to hit or a little bit above, then you don't need to add much length. But you know, if it's cropped, you need to add more length. If it goes all the way down to like the true hip, you may not need to add any length. I cut at what the waistline would be, and I'm going ahead and I'm going to add about 4 inches to my tank top. In general, that's going to be enough. So this is going to be the same, trace, trace, trace through the bust. You can see this is the bust line, the same. Now from here to the hip is where we're going to do our grading. So from this line right here, I add about 3.5 inches. So this, I added about 4 inches. This I'm adding about 3.5 inches. So I measure out, mark 3.5 inches right here. And then from here, try to draw a smooth curve and curve it back in right here. And from here to here is about where the belly is going to be. So that's about where you're going to want to put your gathering. Okay. So I'm going to put a little notch right here for gathering, and I put a little notch right here for gathering. And you're going to want to take out this extra length that you added. So let's say this is about, let's say it's about 8 inches. So then I would want to gather it to 4 inches, right? And I would probably use a 5-inch piece of elastic to do that. starting like a 1/2 inch there and a 1/2 inch there. But, so that's the front pattern piece. For the back pattern piece, you can either more or less leave it as is, just gather the front with then just gathering stitches if you're leaving the back as is, and then sew them together. Some maternity shirts do this. It's not my favorite. I prefer to get rid of the contour here in the back, if there is one, and lengthen it so that they're about the same. And that's all I do. I keep it the same through the bust. I'll show you right here. Keep it the same through the bust. Copy the hip down here and basically just blend it straight and transfer the gathering marks so that they match. So I end up with 2 pieces like this, and when they're sewn together, when they're serged together, then you can just go ahead easily with elastic, starting here, pulling it, sewing it with a zigzag stitch all the way down to here so that it just automatically cinches it up. And I prefer to do the back just because I think it's more flattering. It can hide any like back fat rolls that you may have developed while pregnant, and it also makes it easier if down the line you want to chop off the extra length and reshape this into a normal tank top. All you have to really do, since it has a little bit of extra here, all you have to do is just cut the serging off. You don't have to unpick anything, and you can just recut it to the pattern shape and just re-sew the side and put on a new band on the bottom, and then you have a regular tank top that you can use. So to summarize, I added about 4 inches in length. I'm gathering that up with elastic, starting from about basically where the belly is, under the bust, and then to just above where the belly gets smaller. And I'm gathering that with a 5-inch elastic, so I can have 1/2 inch on each side, and still gather it up from like, this ends up being about 8 inches, so from like 8 inches to 4 inches. And I got rid of the contouring on the back piece. I made it straight. Now all that's left is the bottom band, and I do that 4 inches times whatever this measurement is going to be on the body. This measurement right here, wherever you want your shirt to hit under the belly, so maybe just above the hips, or if you want it lower at the hips, times that by 0.8, 80% of that measurement. So mine is 38 times 0.8 equals that. And with a seam allowance for serging, that gives me 4 inches by 31 inches, how I cut my bottom band. So, sew the short ends together, double it up, quarter it, sew it to the bottom, and that is your fitted maternity tank top. You can take this basic adjustment that you've done for the belly and really make it, you can make a bodycon. You would really just extend it, and boom, you'd have a cute bodycon, especially if you're working off of a t-shirt pattern, where it has like a nice fitted sleeve. You can make a t-shirt dress like this if you want it a little bit fitted and just not have it flared out a little bit more. And that's it. Even if you wanted to make a skirt, like a cute high-waisted skirt that might actually just go up to right over the belly, you would basically take this and then just chop that off And instead of making a band right here at that measurement, you would measure this and put your band up here, and then it would be a really cute fitted high-waisted skirt that you could wear with like a, you know, any kind of like loose like crop top, or, you know, tied up here, and there you go. So hope you found this video helpful. I'll be posting some examples of actually how to do the sewing itself if you're interested, and some examples. Bye-bye.